Who? I have no idea who you are. I've never seen you before, ever. Generic intro into DBcember. We're back with some more DBcember. Today we are starting the top 24 best villains in Dragon Ball. I've never seen Dragon Ball, only Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I've reacted to it. There's a playlist on my channel of all of them going in chronological order if you can check that out. Today we're doing 24 through 13. I don't know what to do about this Dragon Ball Super Villains bonus video because it kind of throws everything off and I would hate for it to interrupt because the top 3 is definitely going to be probably its own standalone video. So I'm not sure how it's going to go. Let me know. Give me some ideas down below in the comment section. I'll read every single comment and reply to a lot of them so you know I'm replying to them and you know I'm reading them. Shout out to patrons. They get the videos a day early. 11 tonight on the paywall on the channel, which is very, very important. I'm here to make you smile, not make you pay. There's never going to be a paywall blocking my content like some other reactors, and all my reactions are pure genuine and just I'm here to make your day better, okay? Just thank you for giving me a chance to make your day better. Hopefully I make you smile. Hopefully I make you laugh. I'm really excited to jump into this. You all have shown so much support for DBcember. I'm going to go through all of it, and it's a shame that they ended it. But let's go ahead and jump on into the top 24 villains. I know there was a rule video talking about like the guidelines for it. Also, I started a food reaction channel because there's a lot of food I've never had, like an orange or a banana or a Nutella or a Hot Pocket. So that's linked down below as well.
It's Gojira!
No, it's Hirudegarn.
Oh, it's the kaiju.
What even is that name?
Well, you see, the character's name actually comes from the movie's co-producer, Seiichi Hiruta, who...
Japanese, got
He
it.
named...
This villain barely makes the list on his looks, powers, and concept alone. He has
Okay.
absolutely no personality nor motivation.
He's just
beyond
big,
being a
bad, that's
destructive,
strong.
fire-breathing, terrifying creature that, while unique to this franchise, has very little lasting impact.
Honestly,
Fair enough.
as with many of the DBZ movie villains, he'd likely be higher on this list if he had exhibited any character or emotion, but that's all
He
left to Hoy,
just-
who, well, he's not bad, but...
He's just a
Yeah,
catalyst to move the plot along. Honestly,
Oh.
I love Hirudegarn, but he's not
Why?
a good villain. Just
Oh,
a cool
fair.
concept that does well enough for the film he's in, exhibiting some interesting abilities and a horrifying...
Is it like a
design.
cicada?
Actually, his name even plays into that. See, the Garn in the name comes from the Japanese onomatopoeia.
Also, he gets defeated in the most infuriating way possible,
How?
negating most
Stubs
of the
his toe?
climax and development for other characters.
Dragon Fist was pretty cool, though.
Oh, fuck
Dragon-
yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That looks very...
23.
For some reason, I like putting holes through
But the
people's
big
bodies.
Dixie Star allowed
Cooler.
him to cheat low rankings.
Really?
How
He's
could this
23?
be?
Yeah. Yeah, we wanted to start with the joke because some of you are probably pissed.
If some of you remember our last list, our opinions on
Really?
the Cooler films lay somewhere
I-
firmly around middling, with Cooler himself not really shining as brightly as
That's-
his canonical brother.
While his
Oh, yeah.
personality is less flowery and
Pump
condescending
Daddy
than
C.
Frieza, making him less of a whole hog ripoff, he also loses a lot of what made his brother an amazing villain, leaving him, well...
Let's go over a
Lackluster?
checklist of what Cooler accomplishes, shall we? It crashes a picnic? Check. Enslaves a race of pacifists? Check. Fails to kill a
Slugs.
single person? Check.
The only
Wait.
who actually kills, Goku revives.
Oh, the
Fuck
bird.
Toriyama.
The one thing Cooler definitely brings to the table, however, are his designs. His initial look
Yeah.
is reminiscent of Frieza, but his transformed
then that
state
design?
is brilliantly designed, intimidating as hell.
And at least he's slightly more interesting than his dad.
It is a neat idea
That's
to
true.
explore more of Frieza's family tree, but following a
Nah,
near
let's not
fatal
do that.
battle on an exploding planet, Cooler pales in comparison to his younger brother as a villain.
Further, his Metacooler appearance manages to be both simple and effective.
Whoa.
He also manufactures an entire army of himself because, you know, if you want something done
Why not?
right, do it
Do it
yourself.
yourself.
But what
So
does he
I
do
do
with his new clone army?
All
He
my
takes over
recording
New
and
Namek.
editing and
You know,
thumbnails
the
and
cheaper
everything
version
myself.
Of the entire planet his brother destroyed.
Taking over Namek again. Oh, come on, there's gotta
Why
be
is it
another
always
planet
Namek?
out
I
there
guess
that you
it's
can
Dragon
exploit
Balls.
for something more than cabbage.
Cooler demonstrates a few unique moves and has some great fight scenes in his first movie, but his
But
lame personality
23rd?
and stupid cloning scheme keep him from the upper echelon of Dragon Ball villains.
Looks like it's hip to
Fair
be
enough.
square, cause it ain't great to be Cooler.
22.
22. Wow.
Hey, what's Boo doing so low on
Gennemba,
this list?
I think is what it's called. At 22?
Yeah, he's a ripoff of Boo. We were pretty blatant about that last year. But
Oh.
now let's talk about what makes Gennemba work.
His design
Gennemba,
can
that's
be a
it,
bit
okay.
busy, but overall, its Valentine's Day inspired color scheme and demonic motif, paired with one
Also,
of the coolest
definitely
weapons
let me
in
know if
Dragon
you agree
Ball,
or disagree
already
with
help
this.
him to stand out.
But combine that with some of the coolest
'Cause
techniques in the
I feel like
franchise,
there's gonna be
including
some very
phasing
strong
in and
opinions.
out of dimensions via Lego block teleportation, portal punching, and the ability to imbue matter with his own evil energy to create weapons of deadly precision.
Which
and
is
you have a
pretty cool.
character that would have made the top 10. If he
was
hadn't been
wrong?
a shameless ripoff of a better villain and had, you know, the slightest hint of personality.
And a bigger vocabulary than a Pokemon.
I think
That
Frieza's
being
probably
said,
gonna be number 1,
even
right?
Gennemba's design is fascinating. Oh, and
Look at Pokemon.
he kind of opened a portal to hell, bringing back every other villain in
Oh,
Dragon
yeah.
Ball history.
Including Goku's most monstrous dictator rival, Hitler.
We'll get-
Make
we'll
sure
let
to
them
put Dragon
defeat-
Ball Z Boo's Führer on the GBA
Stop.
for more info.
He's
Those
also
are
the only
Hetzers.
villain outside
I
of
play World of
GT to
Tanks,
require
or used to.
Vegeta and Goku to set aside
A
their
lot of
differences and
battles.
combine their powers via fusion dance to put him down.
Go, Gadget Gogeta.
Gennemba, if only you were more than a pretty face, maybe we could have had something.
Is he a pretty face?
21.
21. Wow. This.
God,
Who?
do we have to do this?
Kaiser, get over it.
I have no
GT
idea who you are.
Did
I've
it
never
though?
seen you
As
before,
the
ever.
first entry into DBcember representing the GT canon, we're starting with the last
Oh.
villains introduced, the Shadow Dragons.
Conjured from the abused titular Dragon Balls, these 7 characters embody the 7 balls as anthropomorphic dragons.
who's the
each
dude
with
in
their
white
own
there?
distinct personalities, designs, and set of abilities.
Oh yeah, real distinct. By the way, how are those personalities?
Oh,
Real
that's-
diverse character sheets here.
they look a lot
Is
like perfect-
evil,
no,
also
semi-perfect
dragon.
Cell.
Mole? Question mark?
Come on, Kaiser, moles are like dragons of the earth.
Oh yeah, and
Got a
frogs
point.
are the dragons of the ocean. Oh wait,
Hummingbirds
that's
are the
just
sharks of the
dragons.
skies.
Out of the 7 that are presented, only 3 of them are truly intimidating and effective. That being said, they're actually
There's
as high
that
on
dude.
this list as they are by concept alone.
Yeah, actually, I'd happily praise that part. Much as with a lot
What?
of GT, the concepts presented are fascinating and tantalizing, but their execution
But they
falls
hate
short.
GT.
The overuse of the Dragon Balls over the last 30 years has corrupted them, releasing a force of destruction that perverts the cornerstone of the entire series, turning their prized MacGuffin into their final challenge. How could you go wrong?
We'll give it to Toei Animation for
I
making
guess
these
they did.
characters stand out with different designs and powers that make them unique. But at this point of the series, it comes off as tiresome and boring when most of them don't feel like a legitimate threat.
Sin
So I'm
Shenron,
guessing
who
they're-
becomes
yeah, they all have
Mega
different
Shenron,
balls.
feels absolutely no different from every villain before him. His motivation is fascinating, but it does
And of course he
nothing
has, like,
to
a
inform his
goatee
actions.
thing.
He's just evil for evil's sake, and what started as karma just becomes cliche.
Out of the dragons, Nova and Ice are easily the most complex characters of them all, and certainly do well to give depth to the plot and the events that unfold.
I've never heard of this. I did not know
Unfortunately,
this
near the
happened.
end, they are absorbed, forgotten, and we're left with an unsatisfying final boss.
That being said, Omega Shenron brings about many spectacular
Omega
events,
Shenron?
such as Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and the Universal Spirit Bomb. So while
Okay.
the dragons themselves might have been disappointing, they certainly made for some developments.
Also, they lead into the ending of GT, which we as a group wholeheartedly believe is the best ending the franchise has received so far. So
That's
brownie
what a
points
lot
there.
of you said, too.
So, too close. Super 17 didn't even make the list. See what, baby bitches?
God, he looks like, he reminds me of Kimberly from Full Metal Alchemist
Evil
Brotherhood.
scientist Brain
Willow.
and his robot
what, 20?
companion. Before Giro and Android 19.
Those familiar with last year's DBcember list have already seen the
I
bountiful
reacted
comparisons
to that
to
last
be
week.
made with Dr. Giro and his androids.
But we're going to review this terrifying duo on their own
PBJ
merits.
without cross.
The exceptionally cool part about them is how unique their concepts and
Dog
motivation
or the
are in
bus?
comparison to everything that came before them.
The plot of capturing Goku and replacing his brain to become both the strongest and smartest man in the world is fascinating and gives everything this dark sci-fi.
Hmm? Man, this
feel
list is gonna be
radiates
good.
particularly well with the visuals and music in this film.
Unfortunately, while their concept certainly ranks them high for us personally, their execution lacks personality. Kochin is a treat to watch because of how over-the-top dastardly he behaves throughout the film, but he's really only
Okay.
made that much better by comparison as Dr. Willow himself is...
A brain in a jar who wants to control the world because he's apparently super-duper smart and junk. While he's visually captivating
For some reason.
with his grotesque design and concept, he's not supported much outside of his quest for world domination via Goku's body.
And Kochin is just a right-hand man-bot who, while kooky and malicious,
Pretty much.
lacks any nuance. Although a built-in
God, the
Gatling gun
Voltron's
in the arm definitely makes him
movie
stand
was
high
so
up on the
good
list
by
as far as minions go.
All
Team
in all,
4-star.
perfectly serviceable, if not underdeveloped villains that should have set the standard for others to follow.
You all know
Should
Kirby?
have, but didn't.
We started
Who else
Helsing
isn't
Ultimate
on the
Abridged.
list?
She's never seen the bridge before.
19.
I'm trying to convince her to watch Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
Zarbon,
So definitely go and
Freya,
comment on
the
that
General
video to
Frieza Forces
get her to do
wouldn't
that.
have made
It'll be
this
out
list on
Saturday.
their own. But as a collective, they helped to propel Dragon Ball to new sci-fi
And the
inspired
Frieza
heights
Forces,
with their
okay.
designs, personalities, and
And this is what?
overwhelming strength.
Well, overwhelming in comparison to our
Oh, wait.
heroes.
It's,
This isn't the
Oh.
first time we've seen such a gap in power between
done in
the
the bottom.
minions and the good guys. But this extreme puts
Midoriya.
Gohan, Krillin, and even Vegeta on the defense at all times.
Well, until Vegeta jobs both Midoriya and Zarbon. While still being forces to be reckoned with in their own right, they exist
Zarbon.
primarily to emphasize how terrifying Frieza must
tainted.
be. Also to give Vegeta a ladder to climb.
Cell versus.
He burns through each of them with ease, with the only hiccup being Zarbon's transformation.
But
Yeah.
Zarbon's transformation exists not only to give Vegeta conflict, but also to introduce a mechanic that would very quickly become a staple of the franchise. That's right, kids. Transformations all basically started with Zarbon.
Unless we count the Uzaru.
No, it doesn't count.
Own Moloax.
No, it
though,
doesn't count.
It's the interactions these villains
So it
get
started
with
with
others that
Zarbon?
help
What?
flesh out Frieza's presence as a
I
villain.
never knew that.
Deconstruction of the elite Namekian fighters is a level of brutality
Fighters
rarely seen in the
pacifists.
franchise.
It's impossible to ignore just how
Elite fighters
unique and
and pacifists.
striking their designs are. The Saiyan uniforms work exceptionally well as standard soldier attire for Frieza's men. Zarbon's pretty boy look belying his beastly true form is a great contrast. And Dodoria! Look at this
Is-
spiky evil bastard. He looks exactly like the guy who
That
would kill
Dodoria
a
was
kid
a
then
she.
snap his grandfather's neck.
But as they are in fact minions, it's no surprise
Ah.
that their making would fall beneath their masters. But that doesn't
Frieza
mean
has to be
leave a
number one.
heck of an impact on the franchise as a whole. Wait, we completely forgot somebody.
Oh crap, yeah, how can we talk about the Frieza Forces without bringing up its most memorable member?
Who?
Apool! Give it up for Apool, everyone!
A fool. He was in the original, wasn't he? Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm showing Kirby, who's my friend, my best friend I've done videos with. Top 24 villains. Oh, daily updates? Sick. I'm showing her Hellsing Ultimate Bridge. She's never seen a bridge anything before. So, and she's like, she's not really for watching Dragon Ball Z, because a bridge, because she's seen a few episodes, and she's like, yeah, it's boring. I'm like, the bridge is
Evil
better.
scientist bringing a
19
jar
to 20
and robot
is
companion.
8.
Okay, points
18.
been made. Moving on. Androids 19 and 20, the latter commonly being known as Dr. Giro, are intriguing villains. Design-wise, concept-wise, they really take the science fiction angle the series adopted in the last arc and ramped it up to 11.
The
Yamcha.
Red Ribbon Army had already introduced the concept of androids way back in the early days of the franchise. But here we see the
they?
concept fully fleshed out as the driving force of the story.
Dr. Giro being
Fat
the
Chaozu.
mastermind behind the original Red Ribbon androids is a really cool concept, and as a revenge tale, it definitely should work on paper. Unfortunately, it falls short for a couple of reasons. A good portion we can chalk up to executive meddling, but we'll get to that.
Their
Wait,
first
what?
appearance
What'd
in
they
the
do?
series
Huh?
is one of the most violent, disturbing chain of events to take place in the series, and immediately establishes these two as both a threat to our heroes
convertible
and to
now.
humanity. They make no qualms murdering innocent people around them.
As well as putting a hand straight through Yamcha's chest in a sequence that, frankly, is unsettling on every level. It's such a
Nah, it's
brilliant
fine.
beginning to these two characters that,
It's Yamcha.
unfortunately, just fizzles out by the end.
Yeah, and
I
there's
kinda
a
went
reason
for
for that.
Yamcha.
Oddly enough, it comes down to their designs. You see, a Chinese doll and an old man dressed for a trip on the Titanic aren't exactly the first visuals that come to mind when you think about major Dragon Ball villains.
Which is exactly what Toriyama's
So,
previous
because they're
editor,
clothes.
Kazuhiko Torishima, thought. In an interview in Shenlong Times #2, Toriyama quotes Torishima, "I thought that the enemies had finally come. But aren't these just a geezer and a fatso?" Toriyama
Wow.
had not planned for another set of villains, so he ended up
What?
scrapping them for androids 17 and 18.
This does
Okay.
go to affect their ranking, of course, but it does explain why
They're
they
gonna be
start
pretty
so
high.
strong and then
Not
are so
super high, but
quickly
pretty
set
high.
aside for their younger counterparts. But ultimately, there's a lot of enjoyment to be pulled from these creepy mechanical bastards.
Including giving Vegeta one of the most badass Super Saiyan transformations in the series, and the introduction
That-
of the Big Bang Attack. Thanks, Android 19.
Oh,
You
so that's
prove
where that
robots
came from
can
and started.
feel fear.
Oh,
17.
yeah, God. They're around for...
Okay.
When Broly.
Okay. This idiot's got a terrifying design, and his shtick of being the legendary Super Saiyan works well in concept, but is poorly executed from start to finish. His motivation ranges from weak to laughable, and 2/3 of his films are utter garbage. He only made this list because of his impact on the audience of the franchise, and we all wish he'd been stabbed a couple more times as a baby. He has to save us from the suffering of having to sit through his film a collective 5 times to give you the abridged version. Speaking of which, we hope you enjoy it. We love working on it, and we love you all so much. Next!
Apparently, it came with a new movie, and it's really good.
You'll have to
Nappa.
excuse us, as it's only going to be myself.
Does Vegeta
advertising
count as
this
a villain?
time.
Yeah, for some reason, Taka's been tied up and gagged in the storage room.
No!
Nappa isn't exactly the first character that people
Alrighta.
think of when they hear best
love
Dragon
him.
Ball villains. At least not until we became a thing anyway. But backpatting aside, he's actually a very effective enemy in the Saiyan saga.
The death of major characters up until this point was something that the franchise had already become familiar with, but the utter onslaught Nappa lays down is nothing short of monstrous.
He kind of went on a
climaxes
rampage.
with the death of the only character who absolutely could not die, effectively taking away their get-out-of-death-free card and setting up for the entire next arc.
His design is intimidating, his actions are ferocious, but his personality is
Ghost Nappa
pretty
as well.
run-of-the-mill meathead death machine. Sure, he's got some great expressions, but his standalone personality leaves him better suited to being a lackey than serving as a primary threat. That being said, he fills that job better than almost any other character in the franchise.
Not to mention, he's also part of one of the biggest memes.
I think this is probably a good spot for him.
Hey, what?
Hey, kids, do you like violence?
Taka, get back
Hey
in the
kids,
room.
want to see that
There
body?
is no Taka now. There is only Nappa.
15.
Oh, I love him. I love him so much. He's my favorite voice actor. Garlic Jr.
Pilaf. What if you took him, but then made him effective?
You'd have King Piccolo.
Or Frieza.
No.
Okay, but what about Garlic Jr.?
What about Garlic Jr.?
The guy's
Sounds like
the
a
only
fast
villain in
food
the
restaurant.
franchise to actually get his wish for immortality. Well, outside of a certain series that recently was released, but we're not talking about that right now. Unlike
I don't-
King
what-
Piccolo,
what?
who wished for his
I don't-
youth back
what?
like an idiot, he goes straight for immortality.
What's more, he has a background that's firmly rooted in the lore of the franchise. Being the
What is-
disgraced son of a banished would-be
Oh,
kami
yeah.
out for revenge is a really neat concept. While not a lot is done with it, it's definitely a backstory that helps pull together a great group of characters
Oh, they're
to
flying.
fight,
That's cool.
including Kami.
He's also such a great-looking character. A vicious little gremlin
Great
clad in
looking?
robes. He really does look like Emperor Pilaf's
True.
evil twin brother, and it kind of works. His henchmen also sport some neat designs, though they mostly serve to give Goku and Piccolo some fantastic
like
fight
named after
scenes.
spices
His
or something
transformed state, on
in
the
the
other
bridge.
hand, while not bad, doesn't really have much going for it.
Wait, does that mean transformation started with Garlic Jr.? Huh. Maybe Toriyama
Maybe?
did borrow more from the anime than we thought. Either way, he's
Oh.
a pretty effective villain whose film left a heavy impact on the franchise as a whole. He,
Dead Zone.
also had a saga in the show, but...
We're not going to talk about that. It's garbage,
Why not?
and we all know it's garbage. But Dead
Oh.
Zone is a delight for fans of both the original Dragon Ball and its follow-up Z.
Didn't they make a
Garlic
joke
Jr.'s
about that in the
design,
abridged?
Along with this concept, certainly add to that.
Now, if only he hadn't gone full hubris and opened the Dead Zone, effectively the only thing that could beat him.
Never
Yeah.
go full hubris.
14.
Who's the last one we're going for?
Imagine
No.
being a kid who grew up watching Dragon
Raditz?
Ball, like the original Dragon Ball.
He was around
You've
for, like,
seen
2
Son
episodes.
Goku grow from a young boy into a man, and
abridged, at
now
least.
he's got a wife, a kid, a family. You'd think this is where the series would end, right?
Instead,
where you
Toriyama
started.
decides he's going to shake up the very foundation of the series a whole 4 years into the manga's serialization by introducing the main character's long-lost brother, Raditz.
Let's be frank,
Random.
Raditz is not a great villain. He's there for a total of 5 episodes of the anime and a total of
Wow.
10 manga chapters. After his appearance, he is soon forgotten and only ever referenced in the Saiyan saga as a measuring stick for Vegeta and Nappa.
His
Yeah,
personality
literally.
also doesn't have much that sets him apart, though his savagery as an interplanetary destroyer of races definitely sets him apart from the villains before him.
He's also got a ridiculously memorable design, with his long hair and intimidating
Yeah,
figure. How long
kind
do you
of.
think it takes him to dry that hair, by the way? I'm
He doesn't.
guessing 3 hours? 2 on a hot day.
You're assuming Saiyans bathe. Oh man,
You're right.
imagine being stuck in one of those pods for an entire year. I reek of sweat after a good night's sleep. Either way, he
That's
looks
not
awesome,
good.
and his battle with Goku and Piccolo is also particularly memorable.
They pull out all the stops to beat him.
Yeah,
it
and
takes the
Goku
sacrifice
died.
of Goku, the main character, to finally take the pineapple
God.
head down. It's
The
an amazing
abridged.
scene too. The
When
manga
Goku dies, I was like, wait, what?
certainly not wasted on Raditz.
I was so confused.
Unfortunately, what is wasted is opportunity. They introduced the main character's brother as an antagonistic force, but he's eliminated almost as soon as he's introduced. 10 chapters out of the 519 is pretty
Cool.
sad, but that doesn't change what his appearance meant for the franchise and the impact he had on the fanbase regardless.
Oh,
Goku has a
brother,
brother.
where
It
art
opened up the
thou?
whole his
All
family
right,
thing, I
he's in
guess,
hell.
maybe.
Let's never talk about this again.
Home front for no
13.
losers?
Kaiser, don't
Baby?
freak out.
What?
Huh?
Dude, Kaiser, just calm down!
I'm okay, guys. I'm cool.
Kaiser, please.
Stop yelling at us!
Guys, it's
that-
fine.
yo.
Baby's kind of cool.
What?
Excuse you?
Look,
this
I hate
GT?
GT as much as the next guy, as
Oh.
long as the next guy has a hatred that spans multiverses. But like you said,
Oh.
it happened. Trying to ignore what it meant to the franchise would be doing a disservice to it as a whole. I'm not just
Oh
gonna
god, is that
dismiss
Vegeta
it
with a
all.
mustache?
and I'm going to recognize that Baby was a really neat concept.
His backstory is rather convoluted.
He's going to
sum it up,
explode.
Baby is the creation of the Tuffles, a race invented for the anime as a warring collective against the Saiyans. While the Saiyans were depicted as brutish, bloodthirsty warriors, the
Sure.
Tuffles demonstrated advanced technology that overpowered the might of the Saiyans. They were captured on planet
So like
Tuffle,
elves,
a
kind of.
reformed planet Plant, which then became planet Vegeta after the full moon rose, and it just gets really confusing.
You can boil Baby's motivation down to,
Okay.
you guys took my planet, I want it back. So this planet-hopping parasite takes a few bodies, claims Vegeta's,
Parasite.
and by the time Goku and Co return, the entire planet is possessed by this conniving little devil. When it comes to feasibility, it's hard to top actually taking over the planet.
I know I'm not alone in my problems with Baby, though. He does possess Vegeta, effectively removing him from the entire arc, which is a huge disservice to the character. Same thing
But,
happens to
yeah,
Oob.
but I mean, it happened.
While the inception of Majub is touching, he amounts to nothing.
Ooh.
His backstory is incredibly confusing, and his design is pretty bad.
But his single motivation does provide a new stage for noteworthy Saiyan imagery. Planet Vegeta comes back in control
Oh,
of
wait,
Vegeta.
I've seen that
The
before.
Earth serves as a
seen that
surrogate
character.
for the moon in Goku's Super Saiyan 4 transformation. And Baby revives the Great Ape form with a golden tinge this time. It's
Wait,
a
a
fun
golden
highlight
ape?
of what defines the Saiyans as we saw
With
them
the
in
hair?
the past.
He definitely has problems, but as far as villains go, he actually executed some pretty nasty stuff. His arc is maybe the best that GT ever had, and while still mediocre to
Oh.
bad at parts, Baby's origins and motivations propelled the transformation to Super Saiyan 4. Does Goku dye his
God,
body hair?
Super Saiyan
Like,
4.
where did his pants come from? Wasn't he a kid?
His arc has a lot of great moments.
Those are a lot of good
just
questions,
don't sound
actually.
good. As a character, he's petulant and sniveling rather than insidious. But as a villain, Baby certainly is memorable. Maybe Final Bat had something to do with that.
Oh look,
Hmm.
something worse than GT itself!
What, a video game? Oh man, well that's where we're going to be ending for today. Let me know if you agree or disagree with any of these. Frieza has to be number one. If Frieza's not number one, I'm going to be very surprised. Well, I've also never seen Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball anything other than the abridged. So that might be some crazy villain, but I imagine Frieza's probably be number one. Cell's probably going to be pretty up there. I imagine Cell's going to be top 5. I think he's probably going to be top 5. I don't know if they're counting Vegeta, but if Vegeta is in that, Vegeta's definitely going to be top 5, I would imagine. Oh, man. But I'm loving these DBcembers. It's teaching me a lot about Dragon Ball. Your comments are also helping me teach and learn about Dragon Ball because like I said, I've only ever seen the abridged. I want to show Kirby the abridged. I would love to show her the abridged. I'm going to show her Hellsing Ultimate abridged first and maybe SAO abridged after that. But definitely be on the lookout. Saturday at 3:30 p.m. should be Hellsing Ultimate Abridged episode 1 with Kirby. She's never seen a bridge show. It should be fantastic. I hope you're subscribed so you don't miss that. And my future DBcembers, I'll be back next week with either the bonus episode or the part 3 and 4. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to read your comments and decide from there. Shout out to the patrons taking the videos a day early, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching. But until next video, take care and cue the music.
We were playing